All right, hey guys, we're back. Hole number 2 here that I'm going to set up for, and kind of priority 1 here is going to be kind of top spin for me. You can see my extra mile does have a decent amount. I'll probably just stick with that. You can see my extra mile 5 is about 30 accuracy. That plays about 2.4-ish per ring. And in terms of setup here, I'm going to set up the sniper because I'm not going to need a lot of spin. So one thing that I do want to, note, if you have the sniper unlocked and it's, 2 of 5 or 4, I would highly recommend maybe pulling it out here. Aside from that, you can use Viper. Just keep in mind that your ring adjustment will be just a little bit different. Where I use for my max club 1.0 per ring, you would use 1.9-ish per ring. And all this is also something that can be found on Golf Clash Notebook. If you guys need wind charts created, you can find the wind tab and you can make your own charts for your own bag by inputting all that data and then either printing out the sheets or taking pictures of it, whatever you needed to do. And that's going to be the big key for this hole is just making sure I have that driver in place, making sure that I have that sniper in place. And like I mentioned, if you have to use Viper, not a big deal. You're going to have less ball guide than me, but you can mimic my spin. It's going to play spin-wise exactly the same as my club does. You can just see the ball guide on my club. That's the only difference. So do make note of that. Here you're going to see I'm going to go down to a power 1 ball. You can see distance is going to be an issue off the tee, but I want to keep just a little bit of power just for my second shot in case I need it. And in terms of rings, I'm kind of visualizing a spot that's maybe about 4 rings down as my target. So I'm going to make sure that 4 rings down, you can see where the wind is pointed, that it's still fairway. That's going to be a little bit of an overestimate, but it's going to keep me safe. It's going to, avoid the problem of landing long. So there you can see that overcorrection, kind of what that leads to. And it's going to put me kind of very close to sniper or backbone shot distance-wise. So that's a very good tee shot. One thing that I can do is I can kind of lay back a little bit if I wanted to intentionally kind of put it to sniper distance, because I am going to be very much in between or very close to in between. So that is something to think about when you guys are setting up your shots. Hopefully I'm okay for this one, but do know how to hit both shots. You can see I brought sniper, intended to use, maybe kind of a mid-club sniper, which for me might be about 1.2 per ring. For you guys, if you're using Viper, maybe it's 2 1/4, 2.25 or so. And as I mentioned, those sheets are on Golf Clash Notebook, and that would be the easiest tool for you to figure all that out for yourself, would be to just go on there and download those. But let's take a look at what I have here. And it looks like you can see that I am just in between clubs here. So I'm going to go a little bit into power, and this is one of the biggest reasons that you might want to bring a Titan. So if it's me and it's the weekend round, I'm going to bring a Titan no matter what, just to be on the safe side. And here you can see I'm going to use right around 1 top spin. I just need to get land zone wise kind of right in here. And in terms of ring play, I'm going to play about 1.5 per ring. So I'm going to play, 2, 2.5 rings. And then I'll just kind of gently bring it into overpower as well, kind of like you see here. And there you can see I got my perfect ball. And let's just see how this plays out. So far, so good. It comes in very close. You don't want, you want to avoid having to do that overpower for that correction, but you can see with the 1 top spin on the long iron, it's going to get you very, very close speed-wise. So about 1 top spin is perfect for the long iron. And for a wood, it's kind of maybe about 1.5 backspin. I would use 1.5 backspin as kind of an equivalent if I was to lay back and get that sniper or Viper shot that I was mentioning. And the only differences would be differences in accuracy. you know, the way that the spin is going to play out is going to be universal among, you know, similar woods. They play very similarly. There is negligible differences, but they're so small, minute, that they're nothing that you guys have to worry about for yourself, which is one of kind of the bonuses. And here you can see, not too bad for my opponent there. And we'll just tap this in real quick. Get our eagle on the board. As you can see, this is going to be a very good opportunity for an albatross, especially if you bring Titan ball. You know, that's one of the things that I would kind of suggest for you guys is, you know, that's what I'll be doing on my weekend round. You know, we're playing for Titan balls as a reward. And you can see, you know, especially if your intentions are to win in rookie, then the way that you want to go about it is to, you know, save those premium balls. That's what I do for the tournament to make sure that I have them. Like if I don't make sure that I have the balls for my weekend round, you know, that might end up costing me. And here you can see that I did bring the sniper, which, you know, might end up costing me a little bit. We'll end up seeing. We'll just see how I can get this to play out here. So one of the things that I can sometimes do is I can do kind of a bump shot here. I have no idea what to do with this. I'm going to play it like this, and I'm just going to curl it short hit, kind of like this. The great ball is going to end up costing me. But if I hit the rough, it looks like I did, you know, it'll still at least run out and be somewhere up here, 8 yards. That's the problem with me bringing sniper. I was a little unprepared for the shootout. I really didn't have backspin there, but I'm assuming, you know, neither will my opponent. So we're kind of in the same boat. It's gonna kind of come down to who can mess this up the least. And with a little bit of overpower here, especially after seeing my mistake, you know, this shot becomes, you know, monumentally easier to pull off. So all my opponent has to do here is basically hit the fairway. Looks like he did, and well, it'll be close. It'll come down to you know, a yard. So I barely just snuck one, but you know, the tournament's not about the shootouts anyway, so it's nothing that I'm really that worried about. I set up my bag not to win the hole, but to give myself the best chance to make that albatross, and that's what I recommend for you guys. Similarly. And, you know, very similarly, how I mentioned about, you could see how I kind of went no overpower with my extra mile. But if you were to use the notebook converter here, and you can see I have the extra mile and I use the power 1 ball, for instance, you know, that 232.8 is kind of the number that you're looking at, making sure that you can maintain that distance. So whatever club you guys were using, you would just want to make sure that, you know, it has that equivalent type land zone. And, you know, let's just say hypothetically you have extra mile, you know, 3 for some reason. You can see that the power goes down a little bit, but it's only 2 yards. So you could just easily just kind of go into power, you know, about 0.3 rings here, and it'll, you know, kind of even things up for you. So just a nice little tool there for you guys to take a look at. It's on, you know, the Golf Clash notebook site that I've been referencing here. And if you need further information, you know, be on the lookout for the rest of my guides, and I'll be adding, you know, more useful information involving these conversions as we go through the rest of the holes. So good luck there, guys. Catch you guys for hole 3.